chain, taken to the spot.
Goldeneye for the Nintendo 64 set a high bar for console shooters with an excellent single-player campaign and multiplayer that kept players coming back for years. Fans have clamored for a re-release of Rare's classic, but a cocktail of troublesome licensing issues have worked to confine it to its cartridge. Now, Activision, the current holder of the Bond license, aims to satisfy fans with a newly envisioned Goldeneye for the Wii. Does it recapture the 64-bit intensity, or prey on nostalgia for an empty cash grab?
Good luck, James. MI6 out.
For England?
For England, Alec. Always for England.
What's old is new again, and GoldenEye's tale of a killer satellite has been modernized for a 21st century Bond. Most notably, almost the entire cast has been replaced. Daniel Craig takes Pierce Brosnan's role, and you'll have a hard time recognizing anyone else beyond the voice of James Judi Dench.
MI6 to 007. Begin secure transmission.
There are numerous set changes as you find yourself heading to Barcelona, Dubai, and Nigeria, and the plot does away with a 9-year jump as the whole game takes place in present day with smartphones, references to climate change, and so on.
The Russians claim it's a climate change observation facility with no military purpose.
While such a shake-up may seem rather drastic, the plot's main twists and turns are essentially the same, resulting in a story that feels familiar yet fresh. The character interactions help bring Bond to life as he suspiciously eyes a bottle of high-end liquor, and you'll get to participate in more of the cinematic action this time around too.
Natalia Semenova. I'm a computer engineer.
GoldenEye's campaign captures the spirit of its N64 predecessor, taking you from the dam to the jungle, letting you drive a tank through St. Petersburg along the way. Like the story, the level designs often play with your sense of familiarity. The facility still begins with you in the air ducts and an unfortunate soldier on a toilet, but as soon as you walk out of the bathroom, you're in new territory. GoldenEye's 14 levels will have you trekking through a snowy military base and escaping a Russian police station, in all, taking about 7 to 8 hours to complete on your first run. We say first run because the campaign is designed to be replayed. The Agent and 007 difficulty settings add extra objectives to each mission. You might need to photograph blueprints in various offices, rescue hostages, or blast helicopters with surface-to-air missiles. Completing a mission without finishing all your objectives will force you to either repeat it or continue on a lower setting. But if you keep an eye out for the beacon on your HUD, it isn't too easy to pass them by.
No how, no way.
Purists can also go for the 007 Classic setting, which eschews regenerating health in favor of limited supplies of body armor, and after completing each mission, you'll unlock time trials that put your skills to the ultimate test. It wouldn't be right if they left out split-screen play, but while GoldenEye aims high, the feature falls a bit short. There are only 4 modes available, including Conflict, Team Conflict, Golden Gun, and you only live twice. On top of that, there's a full list of modifiers to switch things up, giving you access to silliness like Paintball Mode, Big Hands, or Singularity, which causes you to explode if you touch another player. While it's nice to have most of these unlocked from the start, many of them aren't as fun in practice as they are in theory. Playing as tiny characters makes the game feel slower, sticky grenades are difficult, if not impossible, to plug on an enemy, and headshots only also count splash damage from a rocket or grenade. Of course, it wouldn't be GoldenEye if opponents didn't occasionally fire rockets directly at their own feet. Rather than placing weapons on the map, GoldenEye's split screen has you choose between preset loadouts. However, you can't edit loadouts, and if you want to find a setup with, say, proximity mines, you have to wait for the display to cycle through each weapon and perk one by one. The 10 maps available aren't the best for 4-player matches, and the sluggish performance makes it hard to spawn other players in wide areas. Split screen is definitely a fun diversion, but it isn't strong enough to drive your friends to your door, begging to play another round. With twice as many players and customizable loadouts, the online fares better. However, the choppy visual performance is just as problematic. A standard deathmatch doesn't stray far from Call of Duty, and it has a similar experience system, locking away guns, gear, and perks until you level up. You'll have to get above level 50 before you can freely use the coveted proximity mines. There are 9 gameplay modes in all, including several objective-based team games, Golden Gun, and Heroes, which allows 1 player per team to take on the role of a star, like Bond or Eurocom. The signature characters have special weapon sets, added health, and give health boosts to nearby teammates, and players are rewarded with higher scores and XP for taking down these hotshots.
Nice trick. Doing it without a parachute. Trying to show me up?
Goldeneye supports all of the Wii's various controllers, including the Classic Pro, the GameCube controller, and even the Zapper. But if you've played other Wii shooters, you'll feel right at home with the default nunchuck setup. In fact, Eurocom clearly built on the same mechanics as the Call of Duty games, snapping to targets when you aim down the sights, even when you're behind cover, provided you know where they are. Another nice touch is the ability to lean out from cover simply by twisting the nunchuck. Like the original, gameplay is based around stealth. A silenced pistol is your main weapon, and you'll want to avoid being spotted by guards or cameras as much as possible. If you're a bit off on a headshot, you'll still have a few moments to finish off your target before they call for backup. The levels are often designed with stealthier paths in place, so it always pays to keep your eyes open for nearby ventilation ducts or silent sniper rifles. There are also spots where you can ambush enemies by hacking automated turrets or by dropping a beam from a crane in a construction site. When the action does heat up, Goldeneye still encourages you to stick to cover. Reloading temporarily blurs your vision, and you'll have to reposition as cover gets destroyed. While there are plenty of soldiers placed in pre-scripted positions, the crack troops called in for backup are trained to seek you out and eliminate you. The AI for these soldiers is significantly more brutal, diving for cover when you take aim, tossing grenades to flush you out, and repositioning to take you from behind. One busy kitchen scene will likely take you a few attempts, as there's limited visibility and lots of room for soldiers to get the jump on you. Breaking up the standard gunplay are moments which put you directly in Bond's shoes outside of combat. You'll use a facial recognition app to search for a contact in a dark nightclub and answer calls from MI6 by putting the Wii remote up to your ear.
Bond, you can use the face recognition app on your smartphone to locate Sergeant Garcia.
There are also some simple QuickTime events during cinematic moments as you interrogate a scientist or fight your way onto a moving plane. Despite some clear crossover from Activision's Call of Duty series, GoldenEye's campaign feels distinctively Bond, providing the right balance of stealth, action, and character.
Nice work, James.
Just like old times.
Goldeneye has a great sense of atmosphere and looks good whether you're in the blinding snow, thick jungle, or a posh restaurant. Areas are filled with detail and lots of small breakable objects, but sometimes the tricks employed to work within the limitations of the hardware are a little obvious, like the dancing silhouettes in Barcelona. Background characters tend to be stiff and motionless, but the stars are well animated during stunts and dialogue.
Stop there. Arms out, please. Thank you, sir.
Menus are bland, and the picture just isn't very crisp, suffering from aliasing and an inconsistent frame rate. The soundtrack, of course, is classic Bond, and the strong voice acting maintains the bold sense of charisma.
Are you going to kill me?
No.
The game, however, is lacking the signature theme when you die, and some of the bad guys seem to have caught a bad case of Helghast throat.
Defend your position!
GoldenEye 007 has a surprisingly impressive single-player campaign that remains true to its roots despite deliberately rewriting the script. The multiplayer doesn't break any barriers, and it's weighed down by performance issues, but it's still fun for a few rounds in the living room or online.
It's been a real pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your evening.